So let's ask our second panelist member how he thinks about the recent ECB procedure, but I just would like to introduce him because we have equal treatment for women and men here, by the way, because I believe in. So before becoming in January 2012 a member of the executive board of the ECB, you had been holding several key positions within the German Federal Ministry of Finance. Actually, you had some good Minister of Finance, I know some of them. Among them, you had been head of the German Minister of Finance office, head of the Directorate responsible for core issues of European policy, and Director General for Financial Market Policy. From 2008 to 2011, you are State Secretary at the Ministry of Finance responsible. So the question, there has recently been a growing discontent about the absence of women among the executive board of the ECB. I'm sure you know, and of course the Parliament, our Parliament, had been particularly vocal and engaged on this issue. This had led the ECB to recently announce that it would be double the number of women in management positions. So that means that the Parliament has a strong voice, and we were very clear with our demand, and you were good listeners, because I believe that we couldn't achieve if we would not be good listeners. And of course I'm very grateful that the ECB also recently announced the nomination of a woman, Danielle Nau, as the chair of the Banking Supervisory Committee. So in the meantime, Janet Yellen has been nominated to the first chairwoman of the Federal Reserve, as Anni Podimata, our Vice President of the Parliament, talked about yesterday at the opening. Is Europe behind in terms of women holding top positions in economic and finance? That is my first question. The second, we have the feeling that without pressures, especially from our Parliament, things wouldn't have moved. How do you analyze the situation? What can women bring in terms of added value? And I would like to get this from your personal experience as well. So you are welcome. We appreciate very much that you are here. And I hope that you pass the positive message of our colleagues, women from all around the world, the Parliament, and of course, supportive men, because I believe that this is a common business.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, indeed, you need supportive men, because in central banking we are a very conservative place. And if you want to change this, we need support, and the European Parliament was very supportive in this respect. If I go back to the title of our debate, what if Lehman Sisters? I mean, it invites us to a kind of thought experiment. What would a reversed reality look like? Would it be a better place per se? And I doubt it. There is, of course, plenty of empirical evidence on gender differences in finance and risk aversion. Experiments and field studies on gambling and betting show that women, on average, are more risk-averse than men. But I stress the term on average. This is very important in a debate which easily goes into clichés or stereotypes. And my anecdotal evidence, as a father of two young ladies, 5 and 6, shows me they can really demonstrate hazardously behavior on the playground. But as an economist, of course, I have no reason to doubt the empirical results. But I doubt indeed that reversing reality in the sense of replacing male dominance by female dominance in the finance industry would make the world a better or the financial industry a safer place. It would merely create another type of unbalanced reality with the same tendency of herding behavior, and you touched upon this, Hala. I am, however, deeply convinced that it's time to change reality and to strive for more gender diversity. And I will try to answer two questions from the perspective of the European Central Bank. The first one, why is gender diversity important? And second, how to get there. And we see 3 reasons for this. And they, of course, are well known to you. The first is that gender diversity brings new insights and skills to an organization And this is an asset and a competitive advantage. Mixed teams achieve, on average, better results. And one can see this if one takes a comparison to soccer. Yeah, you need brave strikers, ready to take any risk and not shying away even if it hurts. But to be successful, you need the midfield, setting the scene for others and willing to run the extra mile. And you need the very cautious defense you can rely on in order to be successful. Second, gender diversity allows accessing the widest talent pool. 50% of newly graduates are women, and the majority of graduates with top grades are female. And we simply cannot afford to not make use of these human resources. And this argument weighs even higher in aging societies that are facing demographic challenges. And third, gender diversity is simply a question of fairness and chances of participation in a modern society, and it's key to work-life balance for modern families. And in this sense, gender diversity is not only about affirmative action for women in the workplace. As I see it, there is something in for men as well. It's really about gender balance. And the most men that I know have a reluctant or a clearly negative attitude towards gender diversity, and they enjoy making fun of it. They're often simply scared about their own career prospects. What is only rarely seen, however, that improving the chances of participation of women in the workplace goes hand in hand with opportunities for men to engage more in family life, leaving the stigma and the role models of the 50s of the last centuries behind us. And I do many men, like me, who do enjoy this. And we should therefore change our attitude towards gender diversity in the first place. The question is, how do we get there? I have been convinced for the need for change and more gender balance for a long time. But I have changed my mind on how to get there in recent years. When I graduated from university and started to work, I thought that for my female fellow students eventually equal career opportunities would open up as for me and as for my male fellow students. But my professional experience over the last 20 years showed in general that this was wrong. And the figures speak for themselves. And I just want to quote one compelling example that I found. The UK's Equality and Human Rights Commission found in 2008 already that it would take 70 years to achieve gender balance in the UK's largest 100 companies at the current rate of change. And we need to speed things up. And second, we need a critical mass to achieve a breakthrough. McKinsey comes to the conclusion that the environment for women in senior roles improves only when about a third of leaders at that level are female. And I would like to share with you at the end how we at the ECB would like to achieve this breakthrough. The Executive Board has decided this summer to introduce gender targets after a long and sometimes complicated debate, with the aim, as it was already mentioned, of doubling the share of women in management within 6.5 years. That means by the end of 2019, 35% of positions in middle management and senior management should be held by women. Today, the share is 17% in middle management and 14% in senior management positions. And in order to reach the targets, we are currently developing a gender diversity action plan. The plan covers measures such as opening up vacancies for external recruitment campaigns, and second, to ensure that women are better represented in selection panels. We have found out that this is key, that you have also a balanced representation on selection panels for career movements. And the recruitment of staff for the single European banking supervisor will be a litmus test for our new strategy. And gender diversity, as any kind of diversity, is high on our agenda at the European Central Bank, and it will stay there until we achieve our results. Thank you.
Thank you very much.